Guys, welcome to Don't Like It.
Change it.
So listen, all week long I knew that this podcast was going to be about sleep. And I've been thinking of like how can I bring something of value to everybody immediately? Like what can I share with you that's going to impact your life the most?
Bring it.
How can we help the most, right? And I think that where we need to start is just the importance of sleep, because everybody thinks like in their weight loss journey, or like depression or ADD journey, like whatever they're trying to fix in their lives. We tend to think like the answer is always going to be nutrition and exercise. Like those are the top two.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why we call it the big three, because they're all equally as important, and sleep is massive.
I think sleep is actually the most important,
I agree.
above eating right and exercising, because you're definitely not going to want to eat right or exercise if you didn't get adequate sleep. So it's like number one, it's a non-negotiable. So if you've been stuck, this may just be the answer to unstick you.
So we wanted to talk about why is it important? What happens during sleep that makes it so valuable? And I think quickly we can just say the thing that most people know, I feel like we have to say out loud, is everything happens while you're asleep. All of the recovering, the injury healing, wound healing, downloading the information that you learn throughout the day that day, it all happens while you're asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So people like to think that like when you go to sleep that like your body goes into rest, but it just looks like everything's resting, but actually everything ramps up. This is what I love about the Matthew Walker podcast, link in the show notes below, is that he talks about like your mind when you go to sleep, and they watch it like on the like graphs, like electrical signals and everything, and it actually ramps up and goes into hyperdrive, and it's like doing way more than it's doing when you're awake while you're asleep.
It's funny that you say that, because a sleep cycle is your REM cycle, rapid eye movement.
Yeah, everything's jacked up and your body's just paralyzed. So obviously things are healing, but that's what happens when you're sleeping. But what happens when you don't get enough sleep? I think that's the main thing that everybody's struggling with, is like we want to get up early and go to the gym, or stay up late watching that Netflix show, or whatever we're doing. What is the number one problem with not getting enough sleep? Which, by the way, quick value add, the American Heart Association says for adults it should be 7 to 9 hours. A lot of people think that, I'm good on 5. You're not, buddy. You're not.
You might think you are, but you don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so Matthew Walker, oh my God, I love this. He says they call them super sleepers, the people who can actually get away with having less sleep.
It's like 1%, right?
No. Hear me out. He says the number of people who are super sleepers, basically, expressed as a decimal and rounded to the nearest percent, is 0. That's how many people are super sleepers.
And so many people think that they are. Oh, I've been sleeping on 5 hours my whole life, and I'm just fine.
It's like half of people think that they're fine. You're not, guys. You're not fine. So
you could be better. You just don't know it yet.
So one of the things that happens that he was talking about is that at the end of your sleep cycle is when you get the majority of your deep regenerative sleep. And when you lose that hour of sleep, you're not just losing like an hour of your 8-hour sleep. You're losing the majority of your deep sleep for the night. So it's like way more impactful than we think that it is. So what happens?
So we are going to stick with us. We are going to give you guys some tips here in just a little bit on how to get better sleep, how to set yourself up for a good night's rest. I mean, this day and age, I feel like so many of us struggle with turning off our brains, anxiety. There's so many things that are keeping us from getting that good sleep. So that's what we're doing in this podcast. We're just going to give you some tips to help you make sure that
build some good habits.
Habits, that's where it's at. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Habits. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
Well, we know that.
Oh, yeah. What happens when you don't, like, let's say, like, you should be getting 8 hours of sleep. What happens when you only get 6?
Right.
For me, I know that, like, having struggled with ADD and ADHD, the first thing that goes is, like, my self-control. It's just out the window, and my thoughts are everywhere. I can't remember anything.
So a lot of brain fog.
Yeah, so we know. We know that it's cortisol, right? That's the problem with losing sleep is it jacks up your hormones. You can talk more on that. Oh, you're the expert on
many hormones,
nutrition stuff.
So, with my clients, I always say work with your body, not against it. If you're not getting that good sleep, you're working against your body. So we've got your cortisol. Your cortisol is your stress hormone, and it
skyrockets.
Yeah, it skyrockets. We want to try to go with the natural cortisol ebbs and flow. It's supposed to be higher in the morning when you wake up, and then, kind of drifts away as you get closer to bedtime. But when you're not sleeping, your cortisol's all jacked up.
And one of the side effects of your cortisol being so high is, first of all, you're going to lose all self-control. You're not going to be able to control yourself around those trigger foods. So it's going to increase your hunger. It's going to make you craving sugary foods, things like that. Also, cortisol tears up your collagen.
Right.
And will make you, if you have high levels of cortisol, it's going to make you look more wrinkly.
And we don't want that, girls.
That's a crazy fact,
We don't want that. And it's also playing with your ghrelin and your leptin hormones. When you're missing out on that sleep, you are not feeling as full and satisfied when you're eating the next day. You're craving more sugary foods, which I think we've talked about before, but your body's just like reaching for anything that's a quick source of energy, and that's typically the high sugary foods and drinks. Mm-hmm. And then your hormone ghrelin, that shoots up too, making you more hungry. So you're less satisfied when you eat, you're more hungry. Your body's even storing fat more because your cortisol is up, and that is the hormone that controls, a lot of us will get the fat right here, right in our stomachs. That's typically
gonna get them love handles.
Cortisol. So, yeah, whenever you're not sleeping, all of these hormones, and there's many, 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 many more hormones, but these are like the main ones everyone kind of knows about that are just messing you up. It's working against any kind of like weight loss or even like mental health.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on was, obviously I struggled tremendously in my youth with like depression, and I didn't really think of it as anxiety at the time, but I guess anxiety. But one of the things that happens is you start struggling with depression, maybe a few bad things happen in life, and then you start struggling with insomnia right behind that. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing about insomnia is that it leads to more depression.
Yeah.
And then depression leads to more insomnia, and more insomnia leads to more depression. And the next thing you know, you're like taking pills and like just, doing drugs, trying to cure feeling like crap every single day of your life. And I think that especially people who struggle with ADD, ADHD, that it's this is the number one most important thing that you have to be doing to keep your life on track. Like, the addictive behaviors in people with ADHD are through the roof. Like, most people don't even understand what it's like, but if you can get your sleep under control, everything else will start to fall into place behind that. Mm-hmm. Because most of us, I don't know a single addict who's like, I love this life. this is a great life, you guys. I'm happy right where I'm at. I want to do this forever.
Mm-hmm.
I never met those people. Usually we're all like ashamed of ourselves and can't stand ourselves. We're up all night by ourselves and we're sleeping all day while everybody's living their lives. Then we wake up at 5 p.m. or something crazy.
I remember that you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And it's like,
not a good you.
it's a vicious cycle. It's like which one comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like insomnia and depression and lack of sleep, they're all hand in hand.
Lack of sleep is like, I mean, it seems like everything goes downhill with lack of sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you're eating junk food all day. Like the thought, dude, if you try to tell me, like after I stayed up all night long, if you try to tell me like, okay, I need you to eat these healthy vegetables, it's gonna make you feel better. I'm like, man, get out of here. I'd just not eat.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather not eat at all. So what about you? Like, so I know, like, my ADD, like I was saying, bro, I feel bad for Brian because, like, if I don't get a good
Brian's
night's
his
sleep,
boss.
Brian is my
You should
main
feel bad
man.
for me.
He's my side. I don't know. I guess I'm his sidekick. I feel like.
You're Robin?
No, Brian is my friend, my mentor. I feel bad for him because if something happens, we gotta go to the hospital with Christopher or something, and then I show up with like lack of sleep the next day, I will mess everything up.
You're no good.
Yeah, and Brian then has to like step up. And what if he's got something going on in his life?
Really,
you know?
is anyone good at anything with lack of sleep? Like, if you're waking up at 4 a.m. to go do an awesome workout at the gym, like, but you didn't sleep good, really, how much are you putting into that workout?
Yeah.
Is it even effective?
Yeah. Yeah, and then so let's go more into that. Like, if you're not sleeping, and then you go and work out, is there even a point?
I mean, it might help you control some calories, I guess. But like, why do you work out? That's kind of the question. Are you doing it so that you're not sitting at home eating all day, or? But if you're going in there to what most people want is to build muscle, right?
Yeah.
Right. You're
Right.
probably not building as much muscle as you could be. Definitely, especially if you're not sleeping again that night.
Yeah, you just did a big workout the day before, then you get 6 hours of sleep. It's probably a really bad idea to go in and work out again on top of that.
Oh yeah, recovery is like just as important. There's so many important pieces.
Yeah. So I like to think about that, like your body's repairing all that damage that you did from the day before, and then you don't get enough of that repair happening because you didn't sleep well. Then you add on top of that more damage the next day. Then you add on top of that, like
the crappy food.
in the research, they know that lack of sleep like changes your gait, the way that you walk. It makes you more clumsy. It makes you more prone to accidents. So injuries go through the roof. Here's a fun fact.
Go ahead.
Guys. Sorry, I'm just going to keep spitting these as I remember them.
Okay.
Fun fact. Daylight savings time is coming up next week.
Already.
No, this is fine. This week is fine because we're gaining the extra hour of sleep. So what's really cool about that is
that is good.
The risk of heart attack events the day after November 3rd is going to be down 23%.
Okay, that's good.
Wait, 21%. I'm sorry. Reduced by 21%. And you think, oh, that's fantastic. But what happens next year at daylight savings time when we lose an hour of sleep? This is the most mind-blowing thing that I learned through the Matthew Walker podcast. I listened to like 5 of them. The risk of heart attack, stroke, heart-related issues goes up 24% that day. The next day,
that's
24%
crazy.
Increase in cardiac events. 24%
just from
increase
missing
heart
1
attacks.
hour?
1 hour of sleep.
Wow.
So, like, whenever I say sleep is the most important thing that we're doing, it's like, people like to say, I love this saying. I'm stealing this straight from Matthew Walker, you guys. You should go watch it.
Watch Matthew Walker. He's pretty good.
The saying, I'll sleep when I'm dead. is the most true thing that you can say, because if you don't sleep, it's more likely that you're going to die sooner.
Of all-cause mortality. I remember him saying something about that.
Yeah. It affects everything. It's freaking nuts. Where was I going? I got off track. Started talking about this day.
Daylight savings is next week. So.
Oh yeah, daylight savings. That's what. Oh yeah. Speaking of, welcome to the ADD episode. It is Halloween coming up.
Oh yeah, that's Thursday.
Yeah.
In a few days.
Yeah.
Who's ready for that? Going through all this work, making good choices, and then you get slammed with a big Ziploc bag of candy. I have fought that demon a few times in my life.
Yeah. Are you excited? What are we going to do anything this year with Christopher?
Well, we always take our son trick-or-treating, but really, guys, I would love if we could just, change Halloween.
Ray wants to cancel Halloween.
I want to cancel Halloween. I do.
Ray, this is her least favorite
yeah, it's my least favorite holiday.
The entire year.
I like dressing up. I like watching my kid have fun, but just taking our kids trick-or-treating, getting all this candy, and then you have it setting around, and what are we teaching our children?
Yeah.
It feels like...
I go hunting for it, dude. After Halloween, I'm like, Ray always hides the candy, because that's what every good nutrition coach will tell you. Hide the candy, keep it out of reach, don't have it in sight, don't advertise it, which we just talked about in the last podcast. Ray hides these things, and I have to search around the house like a fiend, dude. I'm over here like,
I have thrown away so
where are the Reese's?
Yeah, well, our son has a peanut allergy, so Chris usually gets the chocolate stuff because most of that may contain peanuts, so he gets the good stuff. But yeah, I typically don't leave it out. I'll keep it in Ziploc bags if I keep it. So one good thing about Halloween is we walk door to door, so we're getting those extra steps. So that's a plus. Also, I don't keep all the candy. I go through it and I get rid of the most horrible stuff. I try to not have my son eat all the colorful dyes, especially red dye 40, just because ADD is in the family over here. So I get rid of that stuff, and I'll try to keep some of the better choices because luckily, people are handing out better options these days.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. Or he got Pokemon cards last year. Yeah. I thought that was the wildest thing.
Or I'll go to a store that has better options for their candy that, dye-free candies. And I know a lot of people are kind of doing that. Yeah. It costs a couple extra dollars more, but if you can afford it. Yeah, if you can afford it. What's the message we're sending out here?
I don't know. Let's start passing out broccoli heads. Yeah.
Or I'm supposed to do a trunk or treat on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm for our gym.
Oh, speaking of, by the way.
I'm handing out.
Hey, Ray.
Freaking ice.
Let me just ADD sidetrack you even harder. Tell me what's new in your life. Something.
Wait, I'm giving out tips for Halloween.
Yeah, but. Alright, fine.
We'll come back to that.
Fine.
I know that's
I'm sorry, everybody.
Gosh.
I'm just trying to sidetrack us so hard off into left field.
No, it's not. Okay, so before you go trick-or-treating, eat your protein. Have a good meal before you go out. Go on a nice walk. And then when you get home, don't let your kids... I'm not going to try to tell everybody how to parent, but some tips here. I give my kid 1 or 2 pieces when we get home. It's pretty close to bedtime by the time we get home. I don't want them loaded on sugar. So I'll let him pick 1 or 2 out of the candy I say is okay, because you should be checking your kids' candy. There are still weirdos out there.
And there's still a bunch of weird chemicals in all of it.
Yeah. So I like to stick with stuff without all the dyes in it. So that's kind of a tip. And 1 or 2 pieces and the rest gets put up. And out of sight, out of mind. I'll even use some of it for the advent calendar for Christmas. If we have some candy left over, I'll put it in the...
Yeah.
And then 1 piece a day on the month of December. So finding ways to use it up like that. And like I said, it's put up. My son don't even see it, so he typically don't even ask for it because he's not
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Although here lately,
Yeah.
he's been having a bit of a sweet tooth.
I think the best thing you could do is just get rid of it. Don't keep it in your house at all, especially if you're on a journey for yourself, feeling your best. You don't need it. It's not in line with your goals. Do a trade in. So, hey, if you give me all your candy, let's all go do this as a family and
Oh, yeah.
have some fun doing this.
Yeah, turn in all your candy and we'll go.
Mm-hmm. Like there's different ways. Everybody's different though. Some people don't care, and if you're not there yet, or this isn't a huge deal for you, discard all of this. But for me, over the last 8 years on our health journey, Halloween is something that we've kind of got a plan. I mean, this is what helps us.
And you talked about on that last podcast, your run-in with Christopher's Halloween candy.
My what? Oh yeah. That's the main reason why.
Like that happens.
Yeah,
It's a very normal human thing to happen.
I had it put up.
Night's sleep.
I have it hidden in the house. I know where it's at whenever temptation comes. If I have a bad night of sleep or I'm highly stressed out for whatever reason, I knew where it was. Chris and Christopher didn't, but I did. And I ate the whole bag. And then that was like the worst night ever for me. Yeah. I think that's why I go back like that, because that is where I struggled before, was with the Halloween candy specifically. So the best thing you can do is not keep it in your house if you have that option. And if you don't have that option, telling your significant other or someone, hey, I have an issue with this. Can you go put it in the lock box that I don't have a combination to?
Just hide it.
Hide it for me. Like, just...
Yeah.
I think that's helpful. Making sure that you are sleeping good and eating your protein so that it's not as tempting.
Yeah.
Not buying your Halloween candy if you are passing it out. Like, don't buy it early and a whole bunch of it, because then it's just sitting and waiting for Halloween night. Like, get it last minute.
Yeah.
And then get rid of it.
If we bought Reese's a week before, it wouldn't make it to Halloween.
It wouldn't make it, no. And you don't even necessarily have, if you are passing out candy, you don't have to pass out candy. Do some Pokemon cards or little bouncy balls, a whistle. Kids like whistles. Like little
Somebody sold those little natural fruit rolls.
Yeah, natural fruit roll-ups, maybe a good granola bar. Like it doesn't have to be like super healthy, but it can be a better option, even for our kids.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, I feel bad for the teachers the day after Halloween, because all those kids get all jacked up on all that sugar and stuff, and then they stay up late. They don't get good sleep. I was talking to Aaron Stroman. He does the Fellowship of Fathers
podcast. Check him out.
Yeah. So I was talking to him, and he was talking about how he'd meet these like kids that are like being terrible. They're like acting out in various ways. And before he became a dad, he used to always hear the parents say, "Oh, they're just tired. Sorry, he's not normally like this." And he thought, like, that's probably bullcrap. These kids just need some discipline. They need to be, taken out back or something. And then he became a dad, and then he saw his kids when they're normally so well behaved. And then one night something happens, they don't get good sleep, and the next day they're just like little devils. Like, and then he has to be that dad saying to everybody, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. They're not normally like this." And I just thought that's funny. And then the teachers have to deal with hundreds of those.
Yeah, if you're a teacher listening, share a story in the comments. We want to know. Is it bad the next day? We're not teachers, we're parents, but if
the worst.
There's any teachers listening, we want to hear what it's like for you the day after Halloween on school days.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, I'd say best tip I can give you is get your sleep. Don't eat all that candy the night of Halloween. Maybe let the kid, maybe have them hold off till the next day. Like, tomorrow we're going to dig into this candy, but not today.
Well, I give Christopher like a Tootsie Roll, something small and little, and he's completely fine with it. There you go.
I like the way you say Tootsie Roll.
That's sweet.
Tootsie Row.
No, I don't. But it does go in hand. This Halloween goes hand in hand with the sleep.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not getting sleep, that candy's going to be way more tempting and you're probably going to give in. So that is like number one. And it goes with the podcast today. Get your sleep the night before Halloween and maybe not stay out super late on Halloween night. Like, go early, get it done, get back home, get your sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something else Matthew Walker was talking about. Also, if you don't get enough sleep, we like to think that if we could just take a nap, we'll be able to catch up on it, or the next night we'll sleep extra. He's like, it doesn't really work like that. Yeah. You don't catch back up on your sleep. I don't understand
it's gone forever.
I don't understand how it all works, but it's like the damage is already done, and you're not gonna undo it. So I think it's even more important that we like focus on staying habitual with our sleep.
Yeah. Do you know anything about I know that we don't have this issue. We've never been like drinkers, but what about alcohol and sleep?
Yeah, he goes into alcohol. He also talks about weed too. He talks about alcohol is more of like a tranquilizer. It's more of like it's putting you like under. It's not the same sleep. It's not like you're going through the cycles and getting the REM and deep sleep, and so it's a very different sleep. Although you are asleep, so you feel like you're getting good sleep, it ends up not being good sleep, and it messes up your REM cycle too. And he was talking about that one of the things that happens to alcoholics when they finally come back off of alcohol is that they get this rush. Like all this REM sleep was like built up over time. It's like we need REM, we need REM, we need REM, and then like they get off, and then it all rushes them at once, and they have the most wild, vivid dreams of all time. Yeah, as soon as they come off of the alcohol. I thought that's the craziest thing. Yeah.
So alcohol, not good for sleep.
Yeah, it's horrible for sleep.
I know every time, like in my 20s, when I did drink once in a while, I'd always wake up with a zit. Always wake up with
probably
pimples.
A cortisol thing or something.
Like, what the crap?
Yeah.
It's a good thing I don't like to drink.
Yeah, and I know also like I think a huge portion of like my struggles in school was all around the ADD problem and insomnia. One of the other things that I learned from Matthew Walker was that after not sleeping well, the next day you can have up to 40% like loss. How do I phrase this? Your ability to learn is decreased by 40%. So, man, that was probably my entire problem in high school. That was probably mine, because I feel like my whole life, like, teachers routinely would say to me, and I hold it near and dear to my heart. They would be like, you're too smart for this. All the ways that I acted out and got Fs throughout school, and they're like, they've communicated with me, and they realize, like, I'm not retarded. Like, sorry, guys, said the hard R there. I'm not stupid. Like, something else is going on, and they could never put their finger on it. And like as an adult, I can kind of now see. It's like I was sneaking out of my window at night and going to hang out with my friends all night long, and then I'd sleep at school.
That's like most teenagers, adolescents. Like I didn't sleep. I was staying up all night, like on the phone with boys with my girls.
Yeah. And or we like the day before a big test, we'd stay up super late studying. It's like all of that is not getting downloaded when you're sleeping.
And
that
kids
2 hours
even require a little bit more sleep.
Yeah. So I actually have the notes somewhere.
I think it's like
it's hour. More. Hold on, I'll grab it. Sorry, everybody.
Your notes are way over there on the floor.
I know. I should have kept them close by. Yeah. So they were talking about adults, obviously the 7 and 9 hours, but if you've got kids 13 to 18 years old, it's 8 to 10 hours. If you've got kids between 6 and 12, they're wanting them to sleep 9 to 12 hours. And kids 5 and below are going to be obviously sleeping forever, 10 to 16 hours a day.
Yeah, that's why I usually let Christopher like sleep in on the weekends. I'm like, he's growing.
Yeah.
If he wants to sleep, I'll let him
Maybe
sleep.
we should stop letting him sleep. That dude's growing way too fast.
No.
Isn't he? He's still like 90 percentile, like everything.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Big boy. But not
I
big.
didn't have those issues.
Yeah.
I was the opposite end. I was small.
Well, we have the internet and we have so much information as parents these days. Our parents did not. And if they did, I'm not sure if they would have even used it.
Yeah.
So, but no, kids need a little bit more sleep. So should we jump into some sleep tips?
Talk about them habits and stuff.
Some habits, some ways to set up your night to make sure you're getting good sleep.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you dive right in first on that.
All right.
Go on.
Should we do it in short form?
No.
All right, fine. We'll do it regular. I get excited to make you stress, stress you out.
You already see me. I'm like, no, like don't rush me through the list.
Okay, so we've got a list of sleep tips. These are gonna help you start to get everything back on track, right? So one of the things that I even struggle with still now, because I know what to do, but I can't bring myself to do all the things. So hear me out. I'm a hypocrite, but I'm trying. I'm growing. I'm learning.
I feel like sleep is something that you will always be working on. It's not something like you're going to have perfect night's sleep every single night if you do all these things. No, life happens. Stressors happen.
Yeah.
I know my sleep has been not the same for 2 years since my sister passed away and my mother-in-law. Like having that loss, that has been very challenging for me. So yeah, life happens, things out of your control, but as long as you are, trying your best and working on it, that's what matters.
Yeah. So I'll just talk about the first couple of tips are the things that I'm struggling with the hardest. And number one, eating before bed. When I was an addict, I created a habit in my life of not eating breakfast and usually not lunch, and then I would just eat 2 really big dinners. So that habit still trails me to this day, and I cannot for the life of me not eat a big meal right before bed, which is a problem.
Like at bedtime he eats.
Yeah, so I eat dinner, and then right before I go to bed, I take Benadryl, and then I make my second dinner, and then I eat it and go to sleep. So that's problematic in 2 ways. Number one, there's the thermic effect of food, which Ray talks about all the time. So it's going to heat you up.
Yeah.
And that's going to mess up your circadian rhythm.
It's supposed to be resting and digesting. Like I say for my clients, try not to eat 3 hours before bed. Let your body do the majority of the digesting and taking care of all that before you lay down. Because I know whenever I eat too close to bed, like on late nights when I have my classes, I sometimes get anxiety, like just a rush at bedtime.
I'm the opposite.
I'm like super farty, like gassy, just because I eat a lot of veggies. And so it's like I'm not super comfortable because my body, I'm not up moving around. I'm just laying there with all this food sitting in my stomach. So it's like, man, I should just like not eat at all if it's going to be super late, just because it does keep me up, and it keeps Chris up too, because broccoli and
I don't
protein.
Want to talk about this.
Okay, let's not talk about it.
So,
sorry.
So your body has a rhythm. They call it the circadian rhythm. Some people call it the internal clock. You might know what it is, but just in case you don't, your body every day has a series of like systems, and like there's ups and downs in your hormones. There's a flow to things, okay? And back in the day, before we had cell phones and artificial lights, your body would go through a series of changes each time the sun went down. First things first, the blue light goes away, it becomes red light. So that's the first signal to your body. The second thing that happens is the temperature drops outside. So, it goes from warm to cool. That's the second signal. And then that starts to trigger in your body the release of melatonin.
The different hormones. So melatonin is a hormone. It's activated when it's dark.
Yeah. And we like to think that So many people take melatonin in these insane doses, like 10 milligram melatonin.
Even 5
Yeah,
milligram.
even the threes, like it's such a high dose. It's like it's so unnatural for your body to get that much melatonin. First of all, and second of all, I don't. What is it like? Like 300 micrograms is how much Matthew Walker was talking about taking, and then also he was talking about that there's there's not adequate research in kids taking melatonin to make a decision one way or the other. There's a lot of controversy here, but here's my point that I've always used. If you're not sure, don't do it. Sorry. Dang, I did it. I did it. If you're not sure, where's our cuss jar?
I put the cuss jar up because you've been doing so good.
All right. So I'll bleep that guy out. If you're unsure about something and the research isn't out there, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
I want to pull up, there's something about how melatonin can block the, what is it?
Yeah, it messes with the hormones of developing children, possibly.
Yeah, right.
But again, I was looking in, we could look it up later.
Okay.
I was looking into it, and they were saying basically there's still an argument. They're unsure. There's not enough studies that have been done to know for sure one way or the other. And all I know is that I don't want my kid to like accidentally be a part of that study.
Right.
Here's the thing. You don't need to take melatonin or give your kids melatonin if you just do these habits that naturally increase melatonin.
Right.
So again, let's hop back into these
Okay.
tips. Let's give them to them so that it's all in one place.
All
it's
right.
all laid out.
So
First things first.
I would say first things first is get your morning light. Were you going to say that?
I mean,
No.
that's part of the circadian rhythm. That's part of the...
So this is a habit I have had a part of my life for the last 2 years. I've been really, really good at it, and this is what I have my clients practice. Get up, get the morning light. So that's that first signal for your circadian rhythm. Okay, it's morning. Getting that natural cortisol. As soon as I get up, get light in your eyes. If it's cloudy, get artificial light in your eyes. Go outside for a few minutes. So for me, I take at least a 10-minute walk in the morning if I can.
She does.
Because I'm getting the natural light in my eyes. I get as much as I can during the day because it's telling my body, okay, this is when you're supposed to have all this light, right? And they say before 10 a.m. if you can. Get outside before 10 a.m. And if it's a cloudy day, you want to spend a few more extra minutes out there. I guess it's not as good like people think, oh, I'm in my car. Well, the windshield's blocking a lot of that. So it's not as good. It's not as good. Get the morning light. So if it's really cold out, I know it's getting ready to become winter here, I bundle up. I know it's not going to kill me to stand outside on my porch for 5 minutes.
While you're brushing your teeth.
While I brush my teeth.
Stacking.
Yeah. So that's something I do too. When it's nice out, I take my toothbrush outside and I'll get that morning light. I'll get in a little walk, even if it's just 5 minutes. I always make sure I get that morning light. I said that's a really good habit. If you're not doing that, it can make a huge difference. Start practicing.
Okay. So we're kind of going backwards. We're starting in the morning. You get your morning sun.
Morning sun.
Andrew Huberman was talking about caffeine intake because I have always taken it as soon as I wake up.
We got a lot of coffee drinkers, a lot of people who take caffeine.
And he was arguing that like what it like affects your adenosine or something. And it's like he's saying that that's not even kicked in yet for like 90 minutes after you've been awake. And he's saying it'd be more helpful to drink a glass of salt water. I'm like,
yeah,
that's wild to think about. But if I don't take it for 90 minutes, there's something happening. Like I don't feel right because I've been doing it for so long. I think it's an addictive thing. So get the morning sunlight, salt water possibly,
or at
wait
least
90 minutes before you take that caffeine.
Trying to delay the caffeine a little bit.
Caffeine has like a 10-hour half-life. So don't take that stuff after noon.
Right. Well, they say like try to cut it off. I try to cut mine off at 2. I've heard like 3 o'clock. Like put down the coffee.
Hear me out.
Put down the stuff.
Hear me out.
Okay.
We take it in 200 milligram doses, okay? So if it has a 10-hour half-life and you take it at noon, 10 hours later, if you took 200 milligrams at noon, 10 hours later, there's still 100 milligrams floating around in your system. That's 2 cups of coffee. Who's drinking 2 cups of coffee before bed?
My mom.
Your mom is a different human being.
I don't.
She's like, I need to relax.
And I actually hear this from other people. Is like, she'll be like, oh, I need just 1 cup of coffee. And it's like 5. I'm like, Mom, no. But so many people are like, oh, it don't affect me. It don't affect me. Yeah. It is affecting. You just don't know it.
Yeah. I don't know how that all works. But okay, what's next? So we got the, morning sun, all that. Oh, naps. If you can't, don't do naps, you guys. Just get your sleep at night. But if you are going to do a nap, they recommend you do it before 1 o'clock. After that, you're starting to mess everything up.
And just like 15 to 20 minutes.
I don't even know.
I've heard 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And like, that's it. Just like a short little nap. Don't be sleeping for hours, because then are you going to be tired for bedtime?
Oh, that reminds me. The person who they do like these ultra runs and stuff. And maybe it was like the Moab 100 or 200. I don't even know. But the person who set the record, it was a lady. She didn't sleep. Everybody else went to bed during the race. They were all like, oh, let's get some sleep. This lady just kept running. And then she started to hallucinate. She was getting deep into the race. No sleep for like over a day. And then she's like, I got to get some sleep. The rabbits are talking to me, all these wild things. And she said, I'm going to lay down, wake me up in 1 minute. And she laid down, fell asleep. They woke her up a minute later, and she freaked out. Why'd you guys let me sleep so long? How long's it been? They're like, it's only been a minute. And she's like, I feel great. And she got up and continued her run, and she beat it like hours faster than everybody else.
Wow.
It's the weirdest thing that a minute of sleep did her that much justice. Anyway, that's just a little sidetrack. I learned so many things like listening and preparing for this. And then they come out,
something triggers it. Oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why that came out. But okay, so back to the
tips.
Yeah, tips. Oh, another thing that you can do that's going to help increase that natural melatonin release, because that's what we are trying to get to. And then we jump back to the beginning of the day for some reason.
We're sorry, we're kind of all over the place. This is middle of the day for us.
So 3 ways you can help increase your melatonin naturally. Obviously, before bed, those little devices we like to stare at, beaming blue light right in your eyeballs.
A lot of us still have TVs in our rooms.
It tells your brain that it's still daylight outside. Don't make melatonin.
Yep.
So it's going to stop you from getting tired as fast. That's number 1. Number 2, the cooling of the temperature outside that we used to have. Matthew Walker recommends 65 to 85 degrees. That's going to help cool you down and trigger that melatonin. Something that you can do that like hyperdrive that response is to take a hot shower or hot bed right before. So that's going to dilate all your blood vessels. And then you're going to step out of the shower, and that cool air is going to just like suck the heat out of your body. And it's going to cool you off more rapidly. Yeah. And that's something that I've been doing. The one good sleep habit that I do have is I like to keep my feet out of the covers. I know everybody, they don't like the idea of having cold feet, but I've grown to love it. I'm like, okay, if my feet are getting cold, that means my body's cooling off, and that means I'm going to get to sleep faster. So that's the main thing. I think the main struggle that I have with sleep is that I don't cool off. If it's too hot, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I had a babysitter when I was younger who beat me with a fly swatter because I was pretending to be asleep. It was like 75 degrees in her house. And I heard my brother's truck drive by.
I know. Anytime we go like visit or go to families' and spend the night, you're always, oh, I hope it's not hot. I hope it's not hot. And,
I'm like, we might have to get a hotel room so I can crank it down to 65.
If he's not in control, it's like, it's a mess. But basically, I like to say, set up, set up an oasis. Like make bedtime, set up like
a relaxation routine.
Thank you. A relaxation routine. Make sure your room is set up just for sleeping and time with your partner.
Yeah, no blue light.
I would say take the TV out of your room. Take the TV out of your room if you have one. These are like big changes, but if you're serious about, your overall health, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to heal some stuff like mindset wise and just be the best version of yourself, like these are little things I think are worth the trade-off.
Yeah.
Go to the living room and watch TV for a little bit and then go to your bedroom.
Yeah. Somehow your body and mind, they know when you're in your place of relaxation and when you're not. And when you spend a lot of time watching TV or just hanging out, eating in bed.
That's
still our problem.
Yeah. So that's something we're always working on too. Like, leave the bedroom just for those things.
Yeah.
Take the TV out, take your computer out. Like, don't work in bed because that can be stressful. Like, your bedroom needs to be set up as your oasis, your place to get away and fall asleep. So I got a little rain machine next to my bed now.
I actually like that thing.
Oh, I freaking love it. It's been a game changer for me. So usually, like, whenever I'm struggling with sleep, it's because something's on my mind. I'm replaying my entire day.
That was my biggest problem when I was young, was my thoughts would be racing.
Yeah.
And then in bed is the first time in the day where I've had a chance to just, like, relax, and then all of my thoughts come out, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, my thoughts are stressing me out. So I always had to have something playing.
Right.
So when we were younger, it was always, like, cartoon movies that I've seen 1,000 times, just playing every single night. How many times have you watched the Ice Age movie?
So many times. Like, when I was pregnant and we had a TV in our room, it was Ice Age and it was another one too.
Horton Hears a Who. I could literally speak every line of the first, like, 20 minutes of the movie. I had downloaded in my mind.
Yeah.
I could just say
every line. It can't be
line.
something new that you've never seen because you want to stay up and watch it. Yeah. So he had to always have something playing.
So that progressed. That's obviously the immature version of what I was doing. And then it grew into podcasts. And then actually now you have the best version of it. When that sleep thing's going and I hear the rain.
You can focus in on it.
Rain has always equaled to me nap time.
Yeah, and there's like little thunder noises, so you can get a little bedtime machine on Amazon for like $10-15. It's been a game changer, and it's got different modes. It's got a timer, so yeah, it's really helped me because I'm like, what could I have done better today? Or I feel like a lousy mom because I didn't do this, and like, it keeps me up, and I toss and turn. But ever since I got that, I turn it on, I just turn it up a little bit, and I just focus in on that noise, and the next thing I know, I'm asleep.
Yeah.
And also, like deep breathing, that's helped me out so many times too. So I have the Fitbit app, and in the app on your phone, Fitbit, they give you different like meditations and just breathing exercises. So when I used to take care of an elderly couple, the lady, she always had like perfect hair. And she hardly had any wrinkles, and she was like in her 80s. I'm like, man, you look so good. What's your secret? She said, sleeping on my back. Like, I don't sleep on my side. I'm like, well, how do you do that? Because I cannot sleep on my back for anything, and you have to train yourself. So she says that she did deep breathing exercises, and then she'd go right to sleep. So, and that's been 3 years ago since she told me that. So that's actually helped me too. So I'm trying to train myself to sleep on my back.
Yeah. And she had a relatively stress-free life.
Yeah.
Low cortisol.
Yeah, low cortisol. So practicing the deep breathing has been a game changer for me too. So I practice the box breathing because it's like the simplest one I can remember.
What's box breathing?
So if you think of a box, four sides. So you're going to breathe in 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold. Wait, did I already say that?
Hold for 4.
Hold for 4. And then, so you're repeating the process. It's like
in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, in or hold for 4 again.
just deep breathe and count to 4 a bunch, okay? So that really does help. That and the rain machine. So setting your room up, making sure your room's nice and cool. Try to hit that 65 mark. I also sleep with the fan. That's, you feel that breeze coming in on you, and you hear that in the background too. Make sure it's completely dark if you can. You should actually be dimming your lights like when the sun starts going down. So if you have like all these overhead lights, like those are the worst, I guess, like at supermarkets and places like
the fluorescent.
The fluorescent lights are the worst, but dimming all your lights down in your house. Turn on a couple lamps, because that's what our bodies were designed. You're getting tired. That melatonin's starting to kick in because it's getting darker. So just kind of taking it back. And right now, like, there's lights everywhere. So I actually take a shower in the dark. I have like the tiniest little light in there, and I kind of keep the door open, cracked, and I take a shower, and it's nice and dark. It's very relaxing for me. So I've set myself up. So my habits are I wake up, I take a walk in the morning, I get as much light as I can before 10 a.m. I'm doing an exercise, so making sure my body's moving, getting out that energy instead of sitting with it all day. Because I think if I didn't work out like I used to, you feel it at night, right?
Yeah.
Like it's stored up energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then setting up your room, making sure, your bed's nice and comfortable as much as you can control. Get you some nice sheets, a nice comfy blanket, the perfect pillow. Doing your best with that. Having your bedroom, if you can do the blackout curtains, like that's a bonus. Covering up
the cars drive by and their lights
the
hitting your
street
room.
lights, like all these little lights can definitely, we're not supposed to be getting light in our eyes at bedtime. And the world we live in now is just like, we're bombarded with lights on everything. I mean,
that's why they call Vegas the city that never sleeps, because it's never dark.
Right.
How can you possibly
like
sleep?
Even if you have a TV in your room, you have the little light on, that little LED light on your TV or your computer.
Yeah.
Or your extension cord.
Ray does drive me nuts with that. I got like a pair of headphones where I'm trying to listen to my podcast so I don't disturb her, and it's got a little blue light on it, and she's like, it's so bright.
It is. Like, I feel like...
this is the dimmest little blue light on
it's
earth,
not.
man.
Like, my eyes, I feel like, are paper thin, so my eyes can be closed, and I can see all this light still from any tiny light. Like, I've trained myself over the last couple of years. I've been really working on my sleep. And I'll even go to the bathroom, and if I wake up, I go in the dark. I don't need it. I know I can see enough,
Unless one of us boys leaves the toilet seat up.
Yeah, or puts a firecracker under the toilet seat lid in the middle. Oh my gosh. Try living with boys. That was the most messed up thing you guys could do.
In my defense, I did not do that. That was all Christopher.
All right, making sure your room's nice and cool, and then trying to eat, after dinner, shut it off. You don't need food after dinner. Like, that's going to help you on your weight loss journey anyway. It's the snacking that you're constantly raising your insulin, and then, like I said, your body's trying to digest all that. So trying to give yourself that 3 hours. I even take a walk after dinner if I can and get that, when the sun's going down.
We're starting to become the red light.
Yeah, that's just another signal to your body, like giving it all the signals that it's on track with where it's supposed to be in that 24-hour period.
Yeah, is there anything like nutrition-wise that... Because, okay, so we talked about not really taking these high doses of melatonin. I struggle with taking the like Benadryl as a sleep aid. Is there anything that we could do aside from all these over-the-counter or prescription things that might help us kind of relax and get ready for sleep?
Well, I know that we've kind of spoken on it before, but magnesium, specifically the magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate, it's going to help calm you, get you into that, hit your GABA receptors, help you get calm.
I don't even know what a GABA receptor is.
And also, cherries. tart cherry juice even is a natural, it's a food, or you can juice it or buy it in a supplement even. That also has...
Don't juice cherry pits.
No, I don't want to kill anybody.
Guys, don't juice a cherry pit.
So, like, just a handful of cherries. So, cherries have naturally melatonin in them and tryptophan, which is going to help, raise that melatonin naturally. Nice. So, a handful of melatonin or a couple tablespoons of tart cherry juice. You guys can look more into that if you want, but that would be something natural that you can ingest that's going to help get a little bit more of that melatonin. Like if you're jet lag or you just kind of need to reset your circadian rhythm, that's when they say you might supplement like very, very, very small dosage of melatonin is when you need help like resetting it.
Yeah.
Like you traveling and you're coming home and you're just not on track.
Did we even talk about that? Because you're saying resetting. Guys, the number one thing that you can be doing to have a healthy circadian rhythm and have all these systems working naturally is that you do everything at the same time every night. You go to bed at the same time and you get up at the same time. I struggle with this because on weekends I like to sleep in. And this is why there's a bunch of people that I meet and they're like, I wake up 4 minutes before my alarm goes off. Yeah, I see what time it is and I think, I'll just get up. And I think, how is that possible? But they are the same people who routinely go to sleep at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every single day, no matter what happens.
Yeah, that's kind of me. And so the last couple weekends I've been into a show, which I just took Netflix off my phone again because it's become a problem. Thank you. You know how hard that is. I was into the Menendez brother documentary on Netflix. Anyone else watch that?
No.
Okay, I said, after this, that's it. I'm taking off my phone because I was staying up watching it. And I know better. See, you can know all this stuff. But if you're not trying, this is my effort in saying, okay, I know better. It's done. I'm done with it. Anyway, so I did have a few nights where instead of going to bed at 10, I found myself up to 11, 11:30, 11:45, like pushing that 12. I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't like me. And I'm already upset because I know my body's naturally going to wake up at 6:30 or 7 like it always does. And then I would have lost that sleep. Yeah. And that's what happens. Like I can't stay up because when I do, my body's already, unless I do it enough, my body's already on its own rhythm. So it's like I can't sleep in if I want to. To get that extra or that 7 hours. So you're
working on not having distractions at bedtime, not having the phone near.
Yes. Making my room just for sleep again. So trust me, you are not alone. Like I said, I know all these things. I've known all these things about sleep for years now. It's something I'm always working on, but I find myself slipping back into old habits.
Yeah.
And so you've got to fight those.
I say hearing that you've done this, I feel like we can make this a challenge. And we can share this with your group.
Okay.
The blue light is, I think, our number one killer. And then we get watching our show, we get too into our show.
I do wear blue light blocking glasses. So it makes me feel a little bit better.
I'm in for the challenge of 2 hours before bed, giving up the screen.
2 hours?
This week, I don't like it. And I want to change it.
Well, you listen to podcasts. You don't have to look at it.
Well, I can put my audiobook on with the screen off. So, I'm going to give up my podcasting, my doom scrolling that I found myself doing again since I re-downloaded Facebook.
I
re-downloaded it so I could upload videos and stuff, and then it's on my phone, and I find myself going to it. Yeah. I can't stop myself. So, I'm going to delete it again. And I'm going to dedicate myself.
So if we're doing that, I think it's very important that you say your why. Why is it worth stopping? I love looking at my phone and my mom time at the end of the night.
Yeah, I'll tell you my why.
Yeah, what's your why? Why?
My why is it's addiction. At the end of the day, it's a dopamine problem. So ADD people, addictive behavior people, we struggle with dopamine. every step of the way. Before Worlds, whenever I got rid of the social media, I accomplished so much more in my life. I was so much more present with you and Christopher various times throughout the day, and that reaching for the phone for a quick dopamine hit went away. And I felt so good. I felt on top of the world. And then I made the mistake of bringing it back. So my why is so I can connect better with my family again and stay on top of like achieving my goals.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times if I'm stressed out, I'm like, I got a bunch of stuff coming up, I might start scrolling just as like a way to like soothe myself.
Right.
And then it gets carried away.
And you don't even know why you're doing it. And so, yeah, we're keeping it real, right? That's what what we decided we were doing with this podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about this again next week. How it goes.
So I'm in a challenge right now, and it's a 90-day challenge, and I've been in a calorie deficit, trying to get that, kind of shredded look, push my body more than I ever have. And I have found that it's harder to stay in a calorie deficit when I have that show, when I have something to do on my phone. I preach about not being distracted when eating, because you can eat upwards of 500, 700 more calories than if not. And I found myself like sneaking off, having my snack, watching my show. Even with our like dinners, I'm like eating by myself so I can binge watch my show while I'm eating. And that's time away from my family. That's time away from my son and my husband. And I recognize, this is this is what I tell people not to do.
It was even a little frustrating for me, like when you spend like an hour eating.
Yeah, because I eat very slow.
She's so slow, and then like we just have to keep going away. Are you ready? Can we go on a walk? After my yogurt.
Yeah, after my yogurt. So it was becoming a problem, and I've quit this a couple times, and here I am working on this again. So if you find yourself, going backwards, going back to what is not working for you, your problem, your bad habits, don't stop trying to change them, because we can overcome them.
Yeah.
It's hard, but if we don't, then
each time you try, you're learning more new things.
Right.
So that was how this is how addicts get through into sobriety. People talk about
this whole world's about addiction. Even me, addicted to watching something while I eat.
The human condition is just
and I can justify it. I'm like, I run my own business. I do workout classes. I do this. I take care of the home. I cook all the meals. I feel like I do so much. And I'm like, just give me that 1 hour. That 1 hour in the day for me, and that's justified. I can preach it. I can tell all my clients not to sit in front of their phones or their TVs and eat, but here I am doing it and finding it harder to stay in my diet, and then I miss my family. I'm like, and then
Are we about to get a commitment out of this?
And then that affects me during sleep, because I'm like, what did I do with my son today?
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't even eat with him. And did you know having that family time at the dinner is huge for kids. They're hearing so many words, they're hearing conversation, and that is missing in a lot of homes.
We can't do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we can definitely do that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and maybe Wednesdays. So, are you committing to anything?
He really wants.
Are you committing to anything?
I've already been practicing. I've already made that choice. I've undownloaded Netflix. I undownloaded Prime Video.
Okay.
I made my bed, and I'm not unmaking it today.
All right. Well, I'm committing to no devices 2 hours before bed.
Last time I did that, the last time I took everything off my phone and sat at the table and ate, I lost 7 pounds that. Because I was in tune with my eating and my hunger cues.
Yeah. And
so I know how powerful it is. I know how good I felt being with my family. Mm-hmm. So it's just, slipping backwards. It happens. Yeah. So don't feel bad, but we know what to do, right?
Yeah.
We keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no more eating in front of the TV.
Yeah, so let's recommit to eating at the table with one another. That's something else that we got from the Fellowship of Fathers. Was one of the rules was that family meal time. And I was trying to make it happen for a while. I slipped a little bit, but I say let's recommit to that. Let's
Well,
get
you
that
slipped
going
too
again.
because I slipped.
Yeah. Yeah, we slipped as a team.
We slipped as a team. And you know, this wasn't something I was ever going to share. I don't like sharing like my struggles because I'm in a position that I help people.
Yeah.
I'm the coach.
Yeah, but how can you help people if you pretend to be something that you're not?
Right.
I think that's one of the things that I love about this entire thing that you have going is that you are the realest person that I know. But I mean, you're the person I know the most. But like what makes your story so unique is that you've been in the depths. Same with me. Like I've been a fully in the pit of despair of addiction and depression and all these things. And you've been the most unhealthy person I've ever met in my life, at least for a moment. And then we've climbed out most of the way. We still got a long ways to go. We're still climbing up the mountain that everybody else started climbing up when they were 20.
Yeah.
But the amount of strength and determination and growth that we've experienced from being in the pits and climbing out, most people never get to experience.
And if they do they talk about it?
And then I think that's what makes you so connecting to people, is that when they see that we could do it or that you've done it, they think, well, that means I can do it because she was exactly like me. He was just like me.
I don't know many people who struggle with what I struggle with. And I guess if I heard someone I looked up to say it, like, hey, I still struggle with this area.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it. I guess I would feel connected.
We're all humans.
Yeah.
We're all struggling with the exact same things. And there's a lot of us who, I mean, I would argue.
I think a lot of us feel alone, though. Like,
Yeah.
we don't realize how many people struggle with eating
Similar
in front
things.
of the TV or staying up all night watching Netflix.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people struggle with the Netflix
I think that's why people
one,
love you.
but...
You look like somebody from the outside until people meet you and they're like, this is the most genuine, loving, caring, passionate person. Like, she's so real.
You're sweet.
Thanks. But you're sweet. That's my point. My point is that's why people love you. And I think that's why I thought this podcast would be very beneficial for people.
Yeah, this podcast was not my idea, but we figured we have something that might help someone. And if anything, it's a chance for us to take an hour out of our busy days to talk to one another about stuff that we're passionate about. Yeah. So hopefully you guys get something from this.
So I feel like we covered everything that we wanted to cover on the sleep.
For sleep, I think it's we gave him some good foundational, enough to work on. Setting your room up, starting your day strong to help you sleep at night.
So let's not finish it yet though, right?
Okay.
Let's just, because at the end, I like to throw a little bit of mindset stuff that's going to help people who don't have vision yet, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, okay. Here's how I want to go about this. Last week, was it last weekend?
What?
I had my pro fight.
Oh, yeah. He had his professional jiu-jitsu fight.
I had my second professional, I'd say not professional, but whatever. It's on the stage. It's in the Voodoo Lounge, in the casino. Hundreds of people watching.
Oh my God, you should see this guy before going.
Man, so here's what I want to get to. Last week we were talking about becoming a person, visualizing what that person's like, writing them the letter. Mm-hmm. This week, I want to dive into something that you're going to struggle with in this transition from who you are to who you want to be. Is that you know that there's some things that are lacking. That person is not who you are. There's some problems that you have in your life that you feel like is holding you back. You're never going to be good enough to be this person, okay? The reason why I bring up my fight is because I created my alter ego. This might seem stupid, but this was hugely important in getting me from who I was to becoming my word of the year, a champion.
January last year, his word. My mom asks us every year, "What's your word for the year?" And his was champion last year, and we're coming in at the very end of this year, and I think his belt says champion on it. You should go get your belt.
It's a blue cord. I'm not going to do that. But here's the point: is the person who I was not good enough. So here's what I did. I wrote down all of the things that I wish that I wasn't. All of the traits that are holding me back. Okay? And it sounds, people don't like to focus on their negatives, but you should do this. And here's the reason why. You write down, for me it's Chris Campbell, here's all the things. I have lack of confidence, I'm high anxiety, maybe I'm not as knowledgeable on subjects as I want to be, so there's a lot of things that I'm not. I wrote them all down in a list. And then I wrote down the new person. For me, it's the ninja monkey, right? Yeah. That is the person.
You're aspiring.
That person who owns the pyramid, that person who's great and the world needs, right? So I write down on a new sheet of paper, ninja monkey. And I write down all my weaknesses as strengths. And then I just read that list of things.
How do you write your weaknesses as strengths?
So,
example.
If I'm not confident, then I'm confident. Chris Campbell's not confident, but Ninja Monkey is confident, okay? Chris Campbell has anxiety, but Ninja Monkey is calm.
Yeah. I actually remember seeing this list.
So, I have like
he actually has it hanging up on his wall where he can see it every day on his way out the door.
Yeah, so in these moments where I'm starting to get into my bad habits, I'm starting to get a negative mind space. I'm saying, "Oh man, I'm nervous. Mm-hmm. I'm scared. I wish that I wasn't here. I wish I didn't sign up
for it. You almost didn't."
Well, no. That's the thing. I use the fear as a compass. If I'm scared of something, I know that's the thing that I have to do. And this year, public speaking has been the forefront. So that's partly this podcast is
helping with that.
Mm-hmm. So you write down all of your weaknesses as strengths, and you start to look at this constantly, and you start to find in your moments of weakness thinking of your alter ego. Okay, this better version of me is calm. And then you start to find ways to like channel that calm. So right before the Blue Corner fights, earlier in the day, I was like, man, I don't want to do this. Mm-hmm. This is the worst feeling in the world.
He gets so quiet and in his head, I know him so well. I'm like, and I know not to say anything sometimes. Like, I've learned how to deal with that nervous Chris and that he'll pull it together. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So right before the fight, when it's time to warm up, when it's time to go out there and be this person that I'm not. Like, this confident person, this exciting person, this person who's good at jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't think these things naturally. I think the opposite of them. But I just start channeling that alter ego.
People.
I start saying, I'm confident, I'm calm, I'm intelligent, I am fit, like, I have great cardio.
And when you say it out loud, too, your brain hears that.
Yeah. I'm in the best shape of my life. This kid is 15 years younger than me, but it doesn't matter because 24-year-old me wasn't even in this good of shape.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can do to stop me. Tonight's my night. And, like, I'm going to win, period. That's all there is to it. And, like, that confidence is channeled in that alter ego. And so I become a different person to go out into that stressful situation that I wouldn't be able to handle.
Right. I am still, like, shocked. Being with you so long, like, it still amazes me to see you get out there on that stage with, I don't know how many people are at the voodoo. Yeah. Like, so many people. That is not the Chris I knew.
I'm actually super nervous right now, even remembering it.
Like who are you?
Yeah.
You've come so far. Yeah. And who are you going to be in the next 5 years? Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, so that's the homework for the week for anybody who's actually doing this. Create the alter ego. Write down all your weaknesses as strengths, and then start to just study that all the time.
I'd say put it somewhere where you're going to see it.
Mm-hmm. And remind yourself.
Like his is by our door in our bedroom.
Yeah.
Hung up with the tack. What the new, like, who he's trying to be. And he could look at that list, and it's pretty big where you can read it. You don't have to, like...
Yeah. Yeah, because your mind knows when you're full of crap, too, right? That's why the alter ego is more important, because you can't just say, I'm confident.
Yeah.
Like, your mind knows you've got a million experiences of evidence that you're not confident.
Right.
But if you say, Ninja Monkey is confident.
Coach Rayanne is confident.
Yeah. Well, your mind is going to look back every single time that you've channeled Ninja Monkey. He does the confident thing. So your mind will be like, oh, this person is actually confident. Yeah. So it's going to bring up the evidence of confidence. Mm-hmm. So you have to separate yourself from the old self.
Yeah, I see that in my journey too, as Rayanne, someone who thought I could never accomplish anything important or impact anyone's lives, to Coach Rayanne.
Yeah.
I'm out here doing fitness classes, which is completely out of my comfort zone. I almost didn't do it. Almost said no. Mm-hmm. And now I'm loving it. I'm like, I'm becoming her. I'm becoming Coach Rayanne.
Did you know Beyonce had an alter ego?
Yeah.
What was it? I think, did we talk about this before? Was it Sasha Fierce? Beyonce couldn't go on stage.
Yeah, you talked to me about this.
Yeah. So Beyonce created her Sasha Fierce. Mm-hmm. That is the person who could go on stage and be Beyonce as we know her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just take that with me. Like, that's Ninja Monkey is the person who can do those things that I'm too scared to do. Mm-hmm. That I don't want to do.
Something that helps me. I don't know if you are religious type, but I love God, and something that's carried me far is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So he's my partner on the journey, and he's a lot in my mindset. And when I'm nervous, I say that I'm not capable, but I have his power in me that I can unleash.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's wild.
So that's kind of my...
Yeah, the religion has that sort of alter ego built into it through the power of Jesus.
And I definitely, the day before my very first class, heart's pounding like, I can't do this, but you are in me, with you in me, and all that power from, like, God Almighty, I'm capable. So
how are you liking that? Listen, before you answer that, when I heard that you were going to do it, I knew that, first of all, in my mind, I thought, she's going to love this. She's going to love this. She's going to love everything about it. She's going to be great at this. This is going to be her jam. Now, going into this, I knew you would be very anxious. And like, I don't know, I don't want to do this, all these things.
Yeah.
I'm like,
definitely had that imposter syndrome
because... Just go to it, because once you're on the other side of this first class, you're going to fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Like, I knew you were going to love it. So...
I'm liking it every time I do a new fitness class. I think I like it more. And it's still fresh, and it's still a little scary.
Yeah.
Like,
but doing the hard things.
You're being vulnerable, and you're like, am I good enough? Is my form as the coach good enough? Like, you just have that imposter syndrome. I'm freshly certified. Like, 2 days before my first class, I got certified in personal training, and now I'm doing group fitness. And
you feel like you're not the person who should be doing this.
Right. I was like, I'll see. We'll see. It's an opportunity.
But Coach Ray...
Coach Ray,
through Christ who strengthens her, is the person who can do it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's part of my journey. I won't say that it's going to be forever. Who knows where this is going to take me. It's a stepping.
Mark my words, this lady's going to be doing group classes when she's like 90 years old.
I feel like
at the swimming pool with the old ladies in little foam things.
I do plan on being a very active old lady. I do. And having like an over 70, over 60 workout on YouTube.
I'm going to need you to remind us of this post in like 20 years.
No, but I actually think that it's going to get bigger. I don't think I'm going to be just doing group fitness. I think there's something even bigger in store for me.
Are you going to be like, what's his name?
I don't know.
Do them videos, workout videos and short shorts.
Who knows? I feel like
curly hair.
I feel like, you start something, but you don't know where it's going to take you. Just like with my nutrition coaching. I thought I was just going to do nutrition coaching, and now here I am on the personal trainer side. Like, it's doors that just keep opening if you allow them to, if you keep growing, if you keep saying yes, if you keep trying new things. Like, I'm sure I'm going to try a bunch of new things, and I'm going to fall in love with a bunch of new things that's going to help people in different ways. So it's very exciting that it doesn't stop here.
Yeah. Yeah, and you had a little bit of anxiety around, like, feeling a pull away from nutrition in a way.
Right. Like, I've had to do some shifting in some areas.
But it's still going to be central in everything that you're doing and a part of your journey.
It's just I can only learn so much in one day, and I want to learn it all. I want to keep expanding my knowledge in nutrition. I want to keep expanding my knowledge in the physical part of it, the training part. And then some days I want to turn everything off. Yeah.
And eat food in bed and watch your shows on Netflix.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to turn it off, the noise. Yeah. So something that I've been doing, how I've been taking my morning walks for years now, even if it's just to the stop sign and back, if I could do any amount of time in the morning. I used to always be listening to schooling or a podcast or a Audible book. Now lately, it's just been me and God.
Your thoughts.
Me and my thoughts. Time to just quietness. Yeah. And that's what I need right now. It's like every season.
I can't do that. That'll stress me out.
Oh, no. Like, I need it. I need to hear the birds.
Yeah.
There's something about it. So I think we need different things at different times in our life. And right now, it's breathing. Being the best I can with what I'm doing right now, learning when I can.
Great.
I think you're doing great. I think you push me, and
I think you guys are doing great too. Let me just shout out to your group.
Yeah, it's getting big.
We should wrap this thing up right after this.
Okay.
But let me just say,
I love my group.
I don't do a lot in your group, but I see your group constantly. And one of the craziest things is, like, we like to think that the people who motivate us is always, like, the David Goggins and, all these people with, like, high achievement. But let me tell you something. When I see, like, a stay-at-home mom who's got a baby on her hip doing lunges, I'm like...
With her baby.
I'm like...
You know who you are.
This person... Hold it together, man. This person is doing it, and I'm over here, like, they have all the excuses not to do it. And then I'm over here making excuses for why I can't do it. So...
You can make me cry.
I'm sorry. I just want to say, you guys are very motivating to me. So keep it up.
Motivating to each other, that's why this group is, going on, what is it, the second year?
Yeah.
Almost 500 people. Not everybody's active in there, but we've got so many people who just, that one thing that they say to someone in the group that's what they might have needed to hear, or your story, or your why, or your before and after picture, or the challenge that I put in the group every day. It might be that one movement they get in. I think it's very impactful. So yes, thank you, group.
Yeah.
You don't like it, and you're changing it day by day, little by little. It doesn't have to be insane. Like, you don't have to do all of these tips that we give you for sleep tonight, but you've heard them now, and you can start incorporating them a little bit here and there. What's one thing I can do tonight? I can shut off my TV, or I can put on blue light blocking glasses. Tonight, I'm going to challenge myself not to eat 3 hours before bed.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not doing that. But we'll
get him there.
Let's just wrap this thing up. Guys, I feel like I speak for both of us here. We love you. We appreciate you. We're rooting for you. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. And again, like, if you guys have any questions, comments, things you want us to talk about, shout it out in the comments. We're definitely going to answer. Yeah. We're still small enough to do that.
Yeah. I think we got one more topic coming up on the big three before we move on.
We did the diet, the sleep. Next up is exercise. So
yeah, be ready for that next Monday. We're trying to post these every Monday.
Every Monday, middle of the day.
Yep, you guys are saying that out loud, holding us accountable to take the hour and a half out of our time on the weekends to get these knocked out for you.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys, have a great week.
Don't like it?
Change it.
Peace.